Well, hey, good morning. Welcome to this group. If you are new here, Happy New Year. I have to say, I'm so thrilled. We've got tons of new members, so please introduce yourself, ask your questions, tag me so I see it. At Jennifer Powder works great. Or if you know that you would like me to address something in a Facebook Live, like I'm going to today, that's another thing you can say is, hey, Jen, can you do a Facebook Live on this? And I will meet you here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or Thursdays to answer your questions. What I want to talk about today, there's a great question. And Becky, this is for you. I think you posted it just a few hours ago. And here's the situation. So in her post, she says she's been dieting most of her adult life and without much success. Okay, so I'm going to read this and I'm going to break it down. I'm still on the first worksheet trying to figure out what my fears are with losing weight. So the worksheet must come from the Stop Sabotaging Your Weight Loss free video series that I've got, where there's worksheets for you to start to explore what's really going on here. Because most of us have the knowledge in terms of what weight loss requires, but we have a gap between the knowledge and the doing piece, right? So that's what Becky's referring to, I think. Becky, if I'm wrong, just correct me in the comments. I want to be healthy. I want to look and feel better. I get disgusted when I go and try on clothes and look in the mirror. The only thing I can come up with is that I'm afraid of failing again. Can you help me with this step? So absolutely. And I totally think you're on the right track and you're nailing it. You're doing it perfectly. You've actually identified a very normal fear. And here's why. If you're with me, I think I just saw it. Okay, good. If you're with me, say hi. I'm going to pull the comments up so I can see if you are here. There we go. So you've actually identified a really common fear. So here's how fear works. First of all, fear, it's a very primal response to situations where there might be anything that is a threat to us. Now, back in the olden days when we were fighting literally to survive, there was a lot of physical threats out there, be it through people who might, other villagers who might attack you, or animals or snakes or whatever. This fear was very much a physical thing, right? But now it's mostly about your own psychological well-being. And a fear of failure is huge. Why? Well, because we don't enjoy failing. We don't like all the feelings we have around failing. We might feel embarrassed. We might feel ashamed. We might feel like there's something wrong with us. We might feel like humiliated, like somehow we're less than. And so the brain, every failure that you go through where you attach all of these emotions, or you have all of these feelings around the failure, your brain remembers that. And it will cause you to be afraid. And so therefore, it is very human to stop yourself before you start, before you try again, because your brain's like, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect your emotional energy here, because it's not fun when you go through all of that disappointment and all of that other stuff that you go through. So why don't you just go get the chips and just don't worry about it? Now, this is obviously not happening on a conscious level. This is happening most likely without you even being aware of it. What I would say is that, a lot of times when we have failure in our life and we experience failure, or we're trying to do something new and we're not awesome at it, most of us have to, I want you to understand that self-sabotage does not exist in isolation. And self-sabotage is to consciously or subconsciously do things to destroy your chances of being successful at something. And this is, we do this in our lives. How many of you have you have a really good relationship, but then if it gets too good, you'll pick a fight with your partner, or, you wait for the other shoe to drop, or, well, it's good for now, but we'll see how long it lasts. Like, most of us have this belief system that things are going to change and that it cannot stay this good forever. So the co-conspirators of self-sabotage are things like self-criticism, that mean voice inside your head. It's the voice that says, you're a loser. Why would you even bother? You failed so many times. Think of your own voice, right? That is not you, but probably that voice has been in your psyche for so long, you may think it's you and it's become a part of your identity. Well, that's just the way I am. That's how I talk to myself. Self-neglect. if you've been taking care of others over time and you have not learned how to prioritize your own needs, I want, or even identify your own needs and wants, well, then you may be in a habit of self-neglect where just because these things become our habit, it doesn't make it good, but it is common, right? It doesn't make it healthy, but it becomes our normal. And anything that we live in habitually, we acclimate to it. It's like just, well, that's how it is. Hey there, nice to see you on. I'm trying to see. I don't know why. Oh, good. Oh, that's so strange. It doesn't say anybody. Okay, great. There's something glitchy on my side. Glad you're here today with me, ladies. The other thing that we want to talk about is self-abandonment. Self-abandonment, it's a weird concept, and self-abandonment is like, you're just not there for yourself. You'll go to people pleasing, even martyrdom. You'll go to dropping everything for somebody else, and you'll sacrifice yourself in order to go and take care of that deadline for work, your children, your partner, your parents, your dog. We have no boundaries often as women. And so when you have self-criticism, self-neglect, self-abandonment, then a lot of times what we're doing as well is we're engaged in a relationship with ourselves that's completely based on self-betrayal. Saying one thing, doing the other. Did anybody set an alarm this morning and then hit snooze? Did anybody yesterday say that they were going to go work out and then you didn't? You negotiated, you bargained with yourself. You maybe told yourself why it's okay to do it tomorrow or next week or when we do this, we end up feeling kind of crappy about ourselves. And when you feel crappy about yourself, you don't actually take very inspired action. In fact, when the worse we feel, the worse we do, we kind of end up just staying and repeating and getting the same outcomes in our life that we've always gotten. And it's like that hamster on a wheel, you're working so hard to try and solve your problem, but you actually have a different problem. There's a problem here of fear of failure, fear of success, self-sabotage. And so I always believe that women, it's not just a weight loss problem. So often the weight loss problem is indicative of, the weight loss problem's here. It's the visible problem. What's really going on and the problem that we really need to solve is below, right? In my book, I talk about the dandelion roots. You see the dandelion, the bright yellow head, but you can't just pop the head off. You actually have to dig down and get that root out. So Becky, what I would say is I would actually, write out all your failures. It may be a miserable task, but then you can have it on paper. So often we're trying to do this work in our head. And the more that we keep it in our head, it's like mental mind garbage. It's cluttery. It makes it feel very confusing in here. And the more that we stay vague, well, a confused mind stays stuck, right? So I would write out your failures and just be like, well, I tried this, I tried South Beach, it didn't work. I tried losing weight. And all those failures mean is that you've successfully identified the things that don't work for you. That's it. Okay. You've successfully identified what's getting in your way. And that means there's hope because there's always going to be a new way to do it. But chances are you've got to be done with those old solutions and ready to move into something new. So this is the month that we bring the good energy. We make sure that we don't fall victim to those marketing claims that are out there for the 7-day, 14-day, 30-day, anything. And you start to do the real work, right? If you haven't seen the video series, the Stop Sabotaging video series, grab the worksheets, watch the videos. It's like half an hour. And who knows, in that half an hour and you do the work, you can change your life. You can change the way you go about your weight loss journey. And sometimes that's what we really need to change. It's not necessarily what we're doing, it's the way that we're going about it. Becky, by the way, if you want to know what the cure is for self-sabotage, well, a lot of it is self-compassion. Compassion does not mean complacency. Doesn't mean you become apathetic or you try to say, well, your goal doesn't really matter. Of course your goal matters. And of course you can do it. But you got to have some self-compassion. You need the videos. I'll find them for you. I'll put them in. I'll put the link to the free video series in the comments. How about that? And then you can grab it. It's self-compassion. It is self-reflection. So often when we engage in self-reflection, we are coming at it from self-criticism, self-abandonment, self-betrayal. We're judging ourselves for when we're reflecting on ourselves. And instead, when you have self-compassion and you take a good hard look at where you've been and where you want to go, well, it's different. Self-love is a weird, word. It doesn't always land for people. It certainly didn't for me. It was such a foreign concept to sort of think about that. But when you change how you look at yourself and you start to have kindness, and then you reflect on yourself, you know what you change? You change your ability to self-regulate. Self-regulation is the ability to no longer just react to something, but deliberately respond. And when you do that, I promise you, the emotional eating, we aren't just going to stuff the stuff down anymore. You're actually going to go, okay, what's really going on with me right now? And even try asking yourself that question this week when you're going for the thing that you know is not helping you in any way with your weight loss goals, whether it's the chocolate or the wine or the chips or the cheese or all of the above. Then ask yourself this in the pause when you're learning how to create some self-regulation. Instead of beating yourself up and being like, idiot, why are you eating those chips? Instead go, I wonder what's really going on with me right now. I wonder what I really need. And then see if you can come up with an answer, because I guarantee you it's not going to be the food. It's going to be something underneath the food, an emotion that you're looking to have fulfilled. And food can never do that. So once again, big welcome to everybody. I'm here on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 9:45 a.m. Mountain Time, and always happy to support and answer your questions. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for posting your question, Becky.